The Song Beyond the Page, Chapter 2. The Reluctant Road to Varrow. Morning crept gently over the rooftops of Brimwall. The rain had passed in the night, leaving the cobblestones slick and glimmering like scales beneath the newborn sun. A low mist clung to the alleys, curling around barrels and door frames as if reluctant to let go of the darkness. From somewhere below, the smell of baking bread drifted through the open shutters, mingling with the quiet song of dripping eaves. Lunk stared first. His armour creaked as he shifted, stretching out limbs that looked more suited to bending iron than strumming lutes. He leaned over the other bed and gave it a gentle shake. Willow groaned and pulled the blanket over her head. I hate poetic mornings. She peeked one eye open. Honestly, who writes this stuff? The mist clings to the cobblestones. The bread mingles with the morning air. What is this? A bakery commercial? Lunk grunted. Not you, big guy, Willow mumbled, sitting up and rubbing her eyes. I was talking to... Never mind. You're good. Another grunt. Yes, I'm up, she said, swinging her legs over the edge of the bed. Just give me a second to find the will to live. She stretched, groaning again, then began gathering her things. Her satchel, her cloak, her lute with the cracked bridge and too many stories. Lunk waited patiently by the door, as immovable as the wall beside him. All right, Willow said at last, buckling her belt and slinging the lute over her shoulder. Off to Varrow we go, delivering ominous letters for strangers with trust issues. What could possibly go wrong? Lunk's answering grunt sounded suspiciously like agreement. Willow fished their coin purse from her belt and gave it a little shake. It jingled once. Sadly. Pathetic, she muttered, tossing it to Lunk. He caught it effortlessly, the leather pouch vanishing in his huge hand. All right, big guy, grab us what we need for the trip. What we need, she added pointedly. Bread, dried meat, maybe some apples, and this time, only what we need. We can't afford another incident, Lunk grunted. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about, she said, crossing her arms. No more swords. We can't eat swords, no matter how shiny they are. Another grunt. No arguing, Willow said. Just food. Go. Lunk gave her a look that might have been sulking, as much as a mountain of a man could sulk, and stomped down the stairs, the floorboards trembling under his weight. Willow sighed and flopped into a chair by the window. I'm absolutely going to regret giving him the coin, she said. But I've got better things to do than argue with a man who thinks soup is a luxury item. Her gaze drifted to her satchel. The sealed letter still rested there, its wax emblem catching a stray beam of morning light. She pulled it out, turning it over in her hands. Well, let's see what all the mystery's about, she said, slipping a fingernail under the seal. Nothing. The wax didn't even flinch. She frowned and tried again, this time with her dagger. The blade stopped dead, humming faintly as if it had hit stone. Oh, great. Perfect. She leaned back in her chair, glaring at it. I knew this was going to be trouble. No honest person seals a letter with magic. That's the sort of thing villains do, or the chronically dramatic. She set it down on the table and pointed at it. You'd better not start glowing or whispering or... The letter shimmered once, faintly. Unbelievable, Willow groaned, dragging a hand down her face. It's like the universe is daring me to burn this thing. Willow propped her lute against her knee and brushed her fingers across the strings. The wood hummed faintly, warm and familiar beneath her hands. All right, she murmured to the letter. Let's see how you like a little tune. Her fingers began to move, slow at first, then gathering rhythm. The notes curled through the air, delicate as spider silk. The sound shimmered, soft and haunting, pulling threads of light from the air itself. They swirled around the letter like tiny motes of dust caught in sunlight. For a heartbeat, the wax seal pulsed faintly, and the melody deepened, low and resonant, as if the world itself had drawn a breath. But then the light dimmed, the hum faded. The letter sat there, stubbornly ordinary. Willow plucked one last sour note and sighed. Fantastic. I just serenaded stationery. She slid the loop back into its case and stuffed the letter into her satchel. Well, that's enough disappointment for one morning. Pushing up from the chair, she made her way downstairs and out into the street. Brynwall greeted her with damp cobblestones and the chatter of early trade. Market stalls crowded the square, rows of bread, cheese, tarnished trinkets, and the occasional chicken with escape issues. The sky was pale and washed clean from the storm, though a few clouds still sulked along the horizon. Brynwall, jewel of the Western Vale, a city of modest charm and enduring spirit, where every street bore the echo of 1,000— "Oh, please," Willow muttered. "Every street bears the echo of horse dung. Let's not romanticize mildew." She sidestepped a puddle. And don't start with Jewel of the Vale. You can't throw a rock without hitting a fantasy city called the Jewel of something. Honestly, pick a new metaphor. I think even Tolkien would roll his eyes. Brynwall's people bustled about their day, merchants haggling, children laughing, the scent of overpriced onions, she offered, freshly baked bread drifting on the wind. Willow snorted. Sure, bread. Let's go with that. Smells more like fermented turnips, but whatever sells copies. She rounded a corner and spotted Lunk across the square, standing beside a cart stacked high with goods. Too high. Oh no, she groaned, dragging a hand down her face. He didn't. Willow pushed through the crowd, eyes locked on the overloaded cart rattling down the street. Please don't be his. Please, just once let him have self-control. The cart creaked around a corner and vanished. She exhaled in relief, right up until a familiar clank of metal sounded behind her. She turned. Lunk stood there, massive as ever, a burlap sack of supplies slung over one shoulder. Bread, dried meat, even a bundle of apples peeked from the top. For one glorious second, Willow almost cheered. Then she saw it. In his other hand, gleaming like it had been waiting its entire life to ruin hers, was a rapier. Oh, come on, she groaned. Really, Lunk? Another sword? You already have 6. What are you building, a personal armoury? Lunk grunted. I don't care if it was a good deal, Willow snapped. We can't eat swords, we can't trade swords, and I refuse to believe one man needs that many pointy— Another grunt. Willow blinked. Wait, you got it for me? He nodded, shifting awkwardly. For a moment, she just stared at him. Oh. Her tone softened, the irritation melting into something quieter. Well, that's actually really— The instant her hand closed around the hilt, a voice whispered in her mind. At last, it hissed. A hand worthy of my edge. Willow froze. Her smile twitched. Oh, of course, she muttered. Cursed. Naturally. Why wouldn't it be? She turned toward Lunk, ready to unleash a verbal storm. But then she saw him standing there, broad-shouldered and hopeful, watching her with all the emotional subtlety of a golden retriever. The fight drained out of her. She sighed, patting his arm. No, it's okay, Lunk. I like it. The sword purred in her head. You and I shall sing together, mortal. Wonderful, Willow muttered under her breath. I've got a duet partner from hell. They left Brynwall by the western gate as the sun climbed over the city walls, washing the cobblestones in pale gold. Farmers passed them on the road, their carts creaking under the weight of harvest goods. The air smelled of wet earth and wildflowers, and the distant hills shimmered with morning mist. And so the bard and her guardians set forth upon the road to Varrow, where fate waited, unseen, beyond the turning of the path. Willow muttered. Fate, destiny, unseen forces, yeah, we get it. Can we just walk without the dramatic voiceover for 5 minutes? Lunk grunted, shifting the pack on his shoulder. Not you, Willow said. You're fine. You have an excuse. He doesn't. A faint vibration pulsed through the rapier at her side. Then a voice whispered into her thoughts. To whom do you speak, wielder? There is no one here but the brute and the blade. Willow blinked, then grinned slowly. Oh, you can hear me, can you? Of course I can. Your words are strange, unfocused. Who is this he you defy? Willow's grin widened. Oh, no one you'd know. Just the guy who thinks he's in charge of this story. The sword hesitated. This story? Mm-hmm. She ran a finger along the flat of its blade, voice dropping to a playful whisper. You and I are going to have so much fun together. A nervous hum rippled through the steel. Faint, almost imperceptible, but there. What manner of creature are you? The sword asked, its voice suddenly unsure. Willow smirked. The dangerous kind. She gave Lunk a light pat on the arm and kept walking, the morning sun glinting off the sword that now deeply regretted its choices. The road wound gently through rolling hills, the grass still heavy with dew. Skylarks wheeled overhead, and the world had that quiet, suspended stillness that comes after a storm. For a while, they walked in companionable silence. Then Willow frowned slightly. You know, she said, glancing at the horizon, I think I feel a time skip coming on. The rapier at her hip gave a confused hum. A what? Oh, nothing you need to concern yourself with, Willow said breezily. You won't even notice it. Happens all the time. Cuts down on walking sequences. The sword hesitated. You speak in riddles. Yeah, she said, stretching her arms overhead. You'll get used to it. She paused, looking around the empty road. Now, if this is what I think it is, the only thing missing is the... A distant clatter of hooves cut through the air. Yep, there it is, she sighed. Incoming caravan. Cue the obligatory "the road is dangerous" warning. Honestly, it's like these things run on schedule. Sure enough, a caravan appeared around the bend. 3 wagons, mud-splattered and heavy-laden, drawn by weary horses. 2 guards rode at the front, armour dented and eyes sharp from sleeplessness. As they passed, one reined in his horse long enough to call out, "Turn back if you've sense, travellers! Bandits thick as flies up ahead! We lost 2 wagons already!" Of course you did, Willow muttered. Bandits, classic. She offered a polite wave anyway. Thanks for the warning! The caravan rattled past, its wheels groaning and voices fading into the distance. Silence settled again, broken only by the creak of Lunk's armour and the rhythmic crunch of boots on gravel. A few minutes later, Willow tilted her head. Oh, here it is, the time skip. The sun had long since dipped behind the western hills, and the world had softened into a watercolour of fading gold and violet. A small fire crackled beside the road, its smoke curling lazily into the cooling air. Fireflies drifted between the tall grass, blinking like forgotten stars. Somewhere in the distance, an owl called, and the sound of it seemed to echo forever. Lunk sat near the flames, a pot balanced precariously over the coals. Whatever he was cooking smelled vaguely edible, something between meat and mystery. He stirred with the solemn focus of a man crafting art, though Willow suspected the only masterpiece being created was indigestion. She leaned back against her pack, pulling her cloak tighter. "Lovely," she muttered. "Picturesque evening, gentle breeze, rugged companion, simmering stew. It's like we're living in a travel brochure." The fire popped. Lunk didn't look up. Willow sighed and stared into the flames. "I can feel it," she murmured. "The calm before something stupid." The sword at her hip stirred, its voice like metal drawn through water. "Explain this time skip you spoke of. When is it to occur?" Willow rolled her eyes. "Already did." "Impossible. We have travelled the entire day without interruption. I would have noticed." "That's the thing," Willow said. "You don't. No one does. One moment we're walking, the next we're here by the fire. The world just edits itself. Convenient, really, if you don't think too hard about it." The sword fell silent, its confusion pulsing faintly in her mind. A low grunt from Lunk cut through the quiet. Yeah, Willow said, dragging herself upright. "Dinner time." She ladled a bowl of stew from the pot and blew across its surface. As she took a sip, the sword spoke again. "Tell me, Bard, what are you truly? To know of such things, to speak of them as if they were threads you can see, it is not natural." Willow gave a small, humourless laugh. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." "Try me." She turned the bowl in her hands, watching the firelight ripple across its surface. "And if you did?" She looked down, voice dropping even lower. "You wouldn't last long enough to tell anyone." The fire crackled louder for a moment, sparks rising into the dark. Lunk didn't seem to notice. He just stirred the pot, slow and steady, as if nothing dangerous had been said at all. The night had settled deep, the kind of darkness that made the fire seem smaller than it was. Crickets sang in the tall grass, their rhythm steady and unbothered. But something beneath the sound had shifted, a subtle tension winding itself through the air like a drawn bowstring. Willow lifted her head and sniffed lightly. "You smell that?" she asked. "I do not possess a nose," the sword replied flatly. "Yeah," Willow murmured, eyes narrowing toward the tree line. "That smells like rising tension to me." "What does that even mean?" "Exactly." The fire crackled once, loud in the stillness. Willow's hand drifted to the hilt of the rapier. It thrummed faintly beneath her fingers, the faintest shiver of power coiling through the blade. "Lunk," she said quietly. The big man looked up, his expression unreadable in the firelight. He gave a single nod and stood, the chain of his armour whispering rather than clanking, a sound too soft for his size. Without a word, he vanished into the dark beyond the camp, swallowed whole by the night. Willow stayed where she was, every sense prickling. The seconds stretched, slow and taut. The sword finally broke the silence. "What is happening?" "Quiet," Willow whispered. The flames danced higher for a heartbeat, and then a figure stepped into the light. A man, lean and sharp-eyed, his smile stretched too wide. The firelight caught on the dagger in his hand and on the ring glinting at his finger. His grin carried the easy confidence of someone who had done this many times before. "Well now, isn't this cozy?" Willow sighed, already weary. "Called it." The bandit took another step forward, his grin sharp as broken glass. "Pretty thing like you shouldn't be out here alone," he said. "Dangerous road. Terrible luck running into someone like me." Willow tilted her head, unimpressed. "Oh, absolutely. Bandits on a lonely road. Shocking. Truly, I never saw it coming. If only someone had warned me." He frowned, not quite catching the sarcasm. "Hand over your coin and whatever else you've got, and maybe I'll let you walk away." "Kill him," hissed the voice from her hip. "Strike him down. Let his blood feed the earth and his bones sing your triumph." "Whoa, calm down there, edgelord." The bandit blinked. "What did you just call me?" "Not you," she said. "Yes, you," the sword snarled. "Split him open and—" Willow groaned. "Not you either. Both of you, just hold on a second." The bandit took a cautious step back. Are you arguing with your sword?" Willow threw up her hands. "Yes, obviously. You'd think that'd be the weird part of this conversation, but here we are." He sneered. "Doesn't matter. Crazy or not, I'll still kill you and take what I want." At his words, shadows shifted beyond the firelight. Shapes moved among the trees, the glint of crossbow bolts catching the flame. He smirked. "You didn't think I came alone, did you?" Willow sighed. "Of course you didn't. They never do." She adjusted her grip on the sword. "You mean these friends?" Thunk, thunk, thunk. 3 bodies dropped from the tree line in a heap, crossbows clattering uselessly beside them. Groans rose from the pile, weak and pained. The bandit froze, colour draining from his face. How have you done this? Are you some kind of witch?" "I'm something worse," Willow said. "I'm genre aware." He blinked, utterly lost. "What?" Before she could answer, a massive hand settled on his shoulder. The sound of Lunk's armour was a whisper, his presence a shadow that blotted out the firelight. The man's throat bobbed. "What?" Willow smiled sweetly. "Have fun, Lunk." The man managed one strangled noise before Lunk's fist introduced his face to the dirt. The night had swallowed the noise, leaving only the whisper of wind through the grass. The fire sputtered low, casting flickering halos across the small clearing. A few groans still drifted from the heap of defeated bandits, the kind of pitiful sound that meant they'd live, though they might wish otherwise for a while. Lunk stood among them, calm and unruffled, his massive hands methodically gathering the weapons into a pile. He moved with the quiet focus of a man finishing a chore he'd done 100 times before. Willow crouched beside the leader, whose cheek was swelling into something colourful and impressive. "You're lucky," she said, fishing his coin pouch from his belt. "Lunk doesn't like killing. He says it's messy." She rattled the pouch and frowned. "Not much for your trouble either. You really should pick richer victims." The man groaned something that might have been an insult, but Willow only smiled. "Oh, don't strain yourself. You've already done your part. The dramatic ambush, the speech, the whole routine. Very professional." "You should have killed him," hissed the sword at her side, its voice seething with hunger. "Mercy is weakness." "Mercy is easier to clean up," she said, tucking the coins away. "Their blood would have sung your power." "Yeah, and my boots would have sung with it too. Hard pass." Lunk rumbled a low sound of approval as he finished stacking the last of the stolen weapons. He brushed his hands off and nodded toward the fire. "Fine, fine," Willow said, rising. "I know. Pack up and move before the next wave of plot devices shows up." As they doused the fire, the sword whispered again, quieter this time. "You mock death as if it were a game, yet you wield me like one who fears it." Willow tightened her grip on the hilt and glanced into the dying glow of the embers. "Fear's not the right word," she murmured. "Let's just say, I've read this story before." Lunk shouldered his pack, and together they stepped back onto the moonlit road. Behind them, the bandits lay in a jumble of regrets and broken pride, the fire's last breath curling upward into the night. The sword said nothing more. For once, even it seemed to sense that its new wielder was something it didn't quite understand. They walked until the moon had begun its slow descent, pale and distant behind thin clouds. The night wind carried the scent of wet grass and smoke from far-off hearths, and the rhythmic crunch of their boots on the dirt road was the only sound that remained. Willow exhaled softly, glancing at Lunk's broad back. "You know," she said, "I joke a lot. About fate, about the story, about all of it. But sometimes I wonder if maybe I'm the punchline. The one character written in just to make the rest of this world seem normal." The sword hummed faintly at her side, but said nothing. She rubbed her thumb along the hilt. "Doesn't matter, I suppose. Somebody has to walk the road. Might as well be me." They crested a hill and the world spread before them in quiet, starlit peace. The road wound down toward the dark silhouette of distant forests, and beyond that, a faint orange glow shimmered against the horizon. Far ahead, beyond the sleeping valleys and whispering fields, the city of Varrow burned. Willow froze. "Excuse me, what?" Flames rose high into the night, painting the sky in shades of gold and ash. And the bard... "Hold on, no, absolutely not. Varrow's not supposed to be on fire yet. We're still in chapter 2. And the bard, whether by destiny or by the cruel hand of fate, would soon walk straight into the heart of that inferno. "Stop it! I said stop narrating! You can't just..." The wind carried the distant echo of bells, and the night grew darker still. "No! Don't end the chapter with that! Ah, shh..."
A single step in the forest hush, leaves sigh soft in the evening's blush, where shadows dance and secrets stay. The world forgets what hearts convey. Whisper of the forgotten, carried on the wind, a story never spoken, lost where dreams begin. The river hums a mournful tune underneath the pale weeping moon, a melody of lives untold, fading fast as the night turns cold. Whisper of the forgotten, carried on the wind, the story never spoken, lost where dreams begin. Time will bury names in stone. as it softly sings. Whisper of the forgotten, carried on the wind, a story never spoken, lost where dreams begin.